Peace, power, prosperity. Peace, power, and prosperity. I got my brother, my big bro, my comrade, Suncere, with us today. And we're gonna talk about some things that is real important and put things in its proper context. For those that
Yes.
don't know, Suncere has been a revolutionary for many, many years. He been putting it down, and he gonna discuss with it in detail. But one thing that he is well known for is his organizing and leadership within the Common Ground Collective, which we're going to discuss and we're going to talk about. For those at this particular time, there's a storm that's headed towards Louisiana right now. It may have already made landfall.
It done hit.
So that's
It
kind of
done hit.
Yep. So that's what's kind of put this spark this. I want to reach back to him. We're supposed to be do this for some time. So if you could kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, Common Ground, and kind of what kind of sparked that, if you can describe that for us.
Well, my name is Suncere Shakur. Originally I'm from Washington, D.C. D.C. made me, man. Made me everything that I am. Even though I reside in Cleveland, Ohio, I'm still very much a proud Washingtonian. Like many of us in D.C., our first brush with anything political was the Nation of Islam. And, I was lucky to be adopted by a renegade Muslim minister by the name of Brother Guy X. And he basically the one that started me off doing tweet. What I didn't know that he was at 13, 14 years old, Brother Guy was walking me into history already. I was totally oblivious to it. And what I mean by that, at 13, 14 years old with Brother Guy X, on the lead, we were supplying food and water to the dope busters of the Nation of Islam. And at 13, 14 years old, I was probably the only child around. And we were bringing food, fresh fruits and vegetables and everything. And the dope busters started out in Northeast DC. And they basically, the Nation of Islam, the fruit, took over the largest open air drug market in the United States with no weapons. And they took over some of the, they took over some of the apartments and turned them into treatment centers where they were getting brothers and sisters off drugs. And what brother Guy and I was doing was also supplying those facilities with food and everything every Sunday. Moving right along, I had a lot of great influences, man. Especially a lot of the sisters in the movement. But moving forward, man, as far as like Common Ground go, I had a cafe in DC, Cafe Marmanage in DC. I got hit about a year into it. I got hit with a counterintelligence program, a COINTEL program, and I had to leave the cafe. So me leaving the cafe, I was terribly, upset about that, And I found myself in Asheville, North Carolina, where I had sworn off activism altogether. I wasn't going to do no more activism. I was just going to retire in Asheville, North Carolina, and just work on the farm, which I was doing. And about 8 months into that, Katrina happened. And I didn't have cable at the house I was staying at, but the white kids next door, they did. And I was mad cool with them, So they let me come over and watch their cable. And I saw on the news on CNN with George Bush. It's like I was right on time to hear this. George Bush was making a statement saying that he was going to send troops to New Orleans, because Katrina had happened. And he was going to take troops from overseas, from Iraq, and send them to New Orleans to deal with those people in the only language those people seem to understand, and that's the language of violence. And I wasn't gonna let history fall and me not do anything. Cause here you go, I never thought I would openly hear a president of the United States basically commit war, on his own people. So I got into my truck. Well, before I got into my truck, people in the community was helping me out, man, with money, maps, and supplies, man. I had a big old 1977 Chevrolet Scottsdale, and them folks put so much so much stuff in my truck, so many supplies in my truck that it was kind of leaning backwards, you dig? And mind you, I didn't have a driver's license. So I drove from Asheville, North Carolina, and down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where I met and hooked up with these people called Veterans for Peace, and that's how I was able to get through those checkpoints and everything. So when we first hit Hattiesburg, the Ku Klux Klan was shooting black people at night, sniping them on the highway. And when I was at the Veterans for Peace camp, they shot that up too, looking for me the next day after I had left. And so we hit New Orleans, and I meet Malik Raheem, former Minister of Defense for the Black Panther Party out in New Orleans. And it was chaotic, man. It's too early in the morning for me to go through the emotional details of everything that I saw, but total decimation, man. Total decimation, bro. It was all bad. And when I met Malik immediately told me, say, man, you know how dangerous it is for you to be down here, but I need you. The vigilantes, there's about 40 vigilantes within a 5-block radius of the house that we was using for a base camp, had murdered 19 black men in cold blood. They murdered them trying to escape, the storm. So basically, as soon as I got out my truck, 15 minutes later, I had a firearm in my hand. So it was like real in the field, And we did patrols to make sure that the elderly and everything was cool. I was also in charge of the security at the house with Malik and the rest of the volunteers stayed, Common Ground volunteers stayed. But I want to say before I get into, the transition, we went from paramilitary for 2 weeks to actual relief mode. But the actual Common Ground name was in the concept really come from the Angola 3. If people like my man be saying, do the math, on Angola 3, do the math on that. Those are some great men. You got to be hardcore and dedicated to form a Black Panther Party, in Angola prison. So those basically Angola prison, even though Common Ground had, majority white people, it was black men, former Panthers, that came up with the name and the concept of Common Ground, which is also not known. Even like I said, even though we had a lot of white volunteers and and leadership there, but what a lot of folks don't know, the black men that was in Common Ground, we would have a meeting before the meeting, and we were actually steering it in the direction that it needed to go. And but we also had white comrades, and the majority of them didn't have a problem with doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because, you're supposed to be anti-racist. Of course, we ran, into a few problems with a few of the white comrades, you know what I'm saying? But you down there in hell with me, I'm willing to struggle with you. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. So, when I was in day 3 in New Orleans, We got patrols going. We're making phone calls. Remember, the government has scared almost every single body away from going to New Orleans, just like they did the earthquake about 20 years ago that happened in Haiti. Same deal. The savages come down, they raping and robbing and all this thing here. The police don't come down to help them out, but we went down anyway. And we set up the base camp of Common Ground right out of Malik Raheem's mother's house. And we started, up. But, the reason why we got so much attention, because nobody was really crazy enough to go down there. But there were hurricane distribution warehouses that really wanted to send stuff, but didn't know anybody that wasn't connected with anybody in New Orleans. So when we reached out, they was more than happy to connect us. You talking about we was getting like, it wouldn't be no thing for us to get like 2, 3, 18-wheelers a day. You know what I'm saying? You spending most of your time unpacking 18-wheelers, taking it to Malik's backyard. We built a tunnel to put supplies in, and we worked from sun up, literally from sun up to sundown till like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, getting supplies out. And we didn't have a lot of vehicles. A lot of volunteers came down and didn't have vehicles, but money started coming in a little bit, and we could start renting Penske trucks as distribution vehicles, for the surrounding New Orleans and also the Bayou. And the Bayou was my job. I had a lot of fun down the Bayou. You can see I gained a lot of weight down that joint, eating that red sauce gumbo down that blickety blick, and them poor boys and all that old type of deal, And you see I done picked up. Another thing about New Orleans, you stay long enough, you're going to say my baby and all that. Hey, try to sound just like them, I think it's the beignets, that do that to you, dig? But yeah, man, so we started distribution. Me, myself, I had opened at least 6 distribution centers, and I was running like 3 or 4 of them at the same time. So you're talking about 1,400 miles a week. I basically broke my truck in about 9 months, running up and down the road so much. But yeah, we, food, water, clothes came in, but we kind of bypassed the clothes thing because people would donate clothes and not have them washed and all this type of stuff. And we had so many clothes coming, we actually had to gut out a house to put the clothes in. But we didn't really use the clothes. So we had like food, water, other essentials, pots and pans, tarps, cleaning buckets after a while, and of course there was a lot of pressure by the military and the police, and but yeah, man, that's when Common Ground started, as a reaction to Katrina. Me myself, I stayed 18 months. I may have the longest tenure in active tenure in Common Ground at the time, other than the people that actually lived there, like Malik. But yeah, man, go ahead. It's a lot to talk about. It's more. Yeah. It's a lot to cram into 20 minutes. It's a lot.
Gotcha. I got a couple of questions for you, and I appreciate you kind of giving us that outline and that layout. That's very much so appreciated. You mentioned the Dope Busters. A lot of people aren't familiar, and they don't really get a chance to hear about the Dope Busters.
Yeah.
Kind of, if you can, tell us a little bit about what was going on in D.C. at the time. Okay. But with the rise of the Dope Busters, like what was going on beforehand in D.C.? First of all, D.C. is known. D.C. is known at that particular time to have some of the hardest people, hardest individuals come out of D.C. It was a wild place to be at that time. So if you could tell us about what was going on in D.C. at that time.
Man, my beloved city. Basically, it is a prison without walls, because DC is governed, at least the streets is governed by prison politics. You know what I'm saying? It's very much like being in the penitentiary, being at home. Yeah, and DC will either make you or break you. You know, either you're gonna be soft as I don't know what, or you're gonna be hard. And trust me, the way they make us, you can drop somebody off from DC almost anywhere on the planet and throw him a butter knife and he gonna make it. Trust me. Give him 2 weeks, he gonna have a crew and everything. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. But at the time when I was a little kid, 13, 14 years old, Rayful Edmonds was running DC and his crew. And it wasn't so much Rayful that was scary, but his lieutenants was extremely brutal and did not play. So oftentimes Rayful would get robbed for like 20, 30 grand at one time. That's how much bread. I mean, this dude was bringing in millions by the week. So to have 30, 40 grand on him, his pocket change was nothing for him. But, dudes would be crazy enough to run down on him. And, his lieutenants would be like, hey, man, that's money we could have. So they would go out searching for the people and act accordingly, But yeah, Rayful Edmonds had DC on lock. Crack cocaine was at an all-time high. The murder rate was crazy. But it kind of like our history, I don't know if you can hear these sirens in the back, I apologize. But in our city, this is how it shifted. This is how the dope game started. Basically, it was the people from the suburbs, the black people from the suburbs brought the dope and brought it into the inner city. I mean, which makes sense because, they're the only ones that can afford to put up that type of money for dope. So that's basically the origin of, crack cocaine and all that type of thing, how it got flown in DC. Okay. But we also had, my bad, we also had, which I guess you would consider like the Jamaican posse, the Jamaicans really took over the drug game in the very beginning, and it was wild. And they were very abusive to DC people that was working for them. You could very easily get slapped up, and beat down and all this type of thing. If you came short, they didn't care whether you was a kid or not. You know what I'm saying? They'll shoot you. They was mad petty. They was mad petty. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this daggone phone to charge. But yeah, but after a while, we found the people, the dudes in the street got tired of being roughed up by these Jamaican dudes, right? And we messed around and we got a New York plug. So once we got that New York plug, we went to war with the Jamaicans. And then for about a year, almost every time you turn on the news, it was Jamaican bodies being found all over DC. So we ran them out of DC, and the youngest took over the drug trade. You did, and which was left vacant by the arrest of Rayful Edmonds. And it was rough, bro. It was rough, bro. You could be walking home with your best friend, and by the time you make it to your TV, he'd be a chalk outline, bro. You know what I'm saying? We was averaging maybe like 300-400 murders a year. And it was wild. It was wild, bro. It was wild, But the dope busters, man, like I was saying before, over in Northeast DC, it was one of the largest open air drug market. It was the largest open air drug market in the United States at the time. And the nation went in there and took it over, man. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I think it made sense that they took that one. And because the mosque wasn't no more about like 5 minutes out from this neighborhood, so it was their neighborhood, and they had a lot of their members that lived in that community too, in that housing project. So, the nation formed this thing called the Dope Busters, I guess as in Ghostbusters, who you gonna call, called the NOI. You know, the dope busters. So the ghost busters, you call the dope busters. And man, y'all look, do the math on the ghost. I mean, on the do the math on the dope busters, man. And them dudes, man, they go, hey, if you ever want to know what it'd be like to cross one of them fruits, man, one of them fruits, fruit of Islam. Hey man, they was bum rushing dudes with pumps and all that, bro. They was up in the jump barehanded, just handling it. You dig? They ain't need no guns, and they was deep. And for the NOI to be able to do something like that in DC, hey man, you doing something, bro. Because you just ain't, you know what I'm saying? Dealing with one Washingtonian street dude is more than enough. But a whole project, that was a miracle, you know. And but yeah, man, they cleaned that joint up, man. Uh, you know, put together these safe houses, man, and turned them into like, you know, treatment centers. They ain't go to the clinic, you know what I'm saying? They ain't go to Howard University or the DC hospital, you know, hospital, nothing like DC General, nothing like that. They did everything on their own. And the reason why I was there and I witnessed it as a kid, because one of the members of the Nation of Islam at the time, Brother Guy X, pulled me into the fold as a child, like 13, 14 years old. And we would jump in the van and, you know, and go get supplies, you know, food and you know, fruits and vegetables, essential stuff like diapers, toothpaste, you know, whatever they needed, man. You know, we was on it. And that's how basically how my my activism got started. I didn't even know I was doing activism. All I know, I was helping, you know, my dad's friend out, you know, and I was young, strong back in the day, you know, handsome as hell. You did. Hey y'all, it helps to be handsome when you're a revolutionary. He don't follow ugly people. No, I'm just kidding, y'all. I'm just messing with you.
I do
Ahead,
got one
brother.
question.
Go
I got another question because I know
Yes,
you've
sir.
mentioned this before.
Yes,
So
sir.
correct me if I'm wrong. You were also a mentee of Ronald Freeman, right?
Yeah, Ronald Freeman.
Ronald
Not
Freeman, not
Roland, but
Roland. You was
yeah,
Ronald.
Roland is his brother.
Right. You was a mentee of Ronald Freeman. Just if you could, because I know that, and I might got the two mixed up. I know we hear about one of them on the 41st and
Yeah.
Central situation, rebellion, if you will, that happened in Los Angeles. If you could just tell us some good things that you remember about Ronald Freeman being a
Man,
mentee of
hey,
his.
comrade, I'm so glad that you brought Elder Freeman up. Elder Freeman done passed away. He's been gone from us a couple of years. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I still haven't dealt with his past in the right way because he meant so much to me. And I feel as though if I open you know what I'm saying, I feel as though I open myself up too much, that it'll hurt too much. You know what I'm saying? So I just holding it off, you know. But we call him Elder, you know, Elder Freeman, you know. Elder Freeman, man, when I started when I first started my first Children's Free Breakfast program, you know what I'm saying? Dude, I had Elder Freeman help me open that joint up. You know what I'm saying? I got a Black Panther with the gray dreads and the beard, you know, in the overalls and the Stacey Adams. You know, that's how they get down on the West. The elders get down on the West Coast. You know, Freeman's from L.A. Freeman was in charge of Bunchy Carter's security in L.A. You know, y'all do the math on Bunchy Carter. Y'all do the math on the Slausons. Okay? Because Nip knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. Okay? Him and Freeman is from the same neighborhood, the Slausons, you know. And if Nip turned his back, you see the tattoo across his back, Slauson boys. You know what I'm saying? And that's like where Bunchy Carter, you know, he organized all these gangs. You know what I'm saying? I think they was like maybe like 1,000 deep or better. And Freeman was in charge of Bunchy's security. until he got locked up. Also about Elder Freeman, since he gone now, I know I could probably talk about this. But it is rumored that he may have contributed to LAPD forming a SWAT team. Yeah, there was no SWAT team before Freeman, so I'll just leave it at that. And Freeman messed around, got locked up on some political shit. You know, went to I believe San Quentin. They locked him up in San Quentin. While he was in San Quentin, U.S. or us, Milan Karanga and his dumbass was working for the FBI, which I know is positive, because over the years I've accumulated information that, you know, people was there. I talked to a secretary and she told me. So this ain't me just snatching something out the air on some emotionalism shit, you know. And while Freeman was locked up, they assassinated Bunchy, and he been carrying that hurt and that guilt, you know, all his life. But Freeman was a very fun-loving Panther man. He was, like I said, he was a minister of defense, and also a bunch of caught security in LA, the LA chapter of the Black Panther Party. Freeman, you know, when I met Freeman, he was on the run. He was on the run, like about at 68 years old, this dude on the run. So that when I met him, he came to DC, and he stayed at my other elder's house, you know, where I used to hang out. It was another bad mother, Shuja Grant. Shuja was a supreme commander in the Black Guerrilla family back then. And
Brother Eric has met Shuja Grant.
Yeah, that's my man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I know him I know him. So I used to babysit his kids when he was out of town, you know. Yeah, we can talk about Shuja. That's a whole nother ball of wax right there. But anyway, through Shuja, you know, hanging out at Shuja house, you know, I met Elder Freeman. Like I said, he was on the run, you know, some stuff going on in LA. And you know, he was supposed to stay about a month. Then a month turned to 2 months. Then a month turned to 90 days. Then 90 days turned to 6 months. Then 6 months turned to a year. But hey man, I ain't never wanted to go, because he was so much fun. When he got to us, he probably about 68, something like that. And right. You know, Freeman liked drinking Heinekens and smoking bud, you know. And I remember I spent the night over Shuja house, and I was getting up to fix breakfast. I said, Freeman, what you want? I said, Freeman, what you want to eat? What you want for breakfast? He said, boy, breakfast? Why didn't you have my Heineken yet? You know, but hey man, it's funny you bring up Freeman and Shuja. You know, both of them together will come over to I lived in an activist house with about 16 people at the time. The Olive Branch community, you know, the Olive Branch. And man, Freeman and Shuja would come over to the house with like a case of Heineken, you know, and an O. And they'd sit there and drink, and we'll smoke, and they would talk to me till 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm talking about for months. And after a while, I got tired of that stuff, man. I'm like, yo, man, this is too much. And they were like, what they were doing was basically, it was a lot. It was two things wrapped in one. It was several things wrapped in one. While they were sitting there, you know, we were, you know, doing our, what we call in Cleveland, when we were sitting there doing our 1-2 at the kitchen table, man, they were telling me all these fantastic stories, man. And they were telling me how the mistakes that they made. They were telling me what to look out for. They were telling me how to conduct myself. You know, that Black women are sexual objects. You know, hey, everybody loves sex. You dig? But I'm not supposed to look at my sister like the slave master do. I'm supposed to be honest with my mate, you know, and my character. You know, they rebuilt me. You know what I'm saying? You know, they taught me a great deal about integrity and morals. And Freeman was like, hey, integrity and morals count the most when no one's looking. You know what I'm saying? And just having a legendary Black Panther around me like that kind of let me know I was on the right track. So he inspired me in that way. We got into it a few times too. Look, he had one too many of them high niggas. Boy, I know what you doing. You a spy, ain't you? Hey, what you talking about, Freeman? What you talking about, Freeman? I remember, look, I tried to walk away from him. He don't walk too well, right? He walking behind me with that little lip and stuff. Shoes had to stop him. Yeah, it was so funny. I wish y'all was there to see that. It was so funny. He didn't, he had one too many. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Right.
But these brothers went through a lot, man. He told me about the Bunchy Carter story. He told me about the whole SWAT team deal. He loved firearms. Hey, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about him and talk about how he loved firearms. I think when he passed away, he had a whole chest full of firearms. So he loved firearms. Freeman loved taking pictures. Freeman was very vain. I mean, you could wake him up out of his sleep, be like, Freeman, can I get a photo? Hey, so some of y'all will see Freeman on some of the Black Panther covers, and I know he in heaven and he love that. But yeah, man, I opened up my first children's free breakfast program, and he assisted me with that. I just, then when we lost, then he went out to LA, and I didn't want him to go. But I know he had family and a wife and everything back there. I didn't want him to go. You know what I'm saying? I was on some selfish shit. And so he went away, but he came back because he was on the run again. How you get in that much trouble at 68, man? Hey. But yeah, so he come back again, and this time he didn't stay with Shuja. He stayed with the comrades, Zan and Jamie, off of Rhode Island Avenue in DC. And yeah, I think he stayed like another 6 months, something like that. And it was some things going on at home that we were more, and I ain't gonna go into it out of respect for him and his family, but I'll dance around it. It was some things going on at home that we didn't like and that involved him. And we basically sat his old ass down, was like, yo, you can't be talking this shit to us and then going home and doing that. You need to get your shit together.
Right.
And guess what? He went home and did exactly that. He got anger management counseling. Matter of fact, I mean, as a true Panther, he started out, you know what I'm saying, as a member, you know what I'm saying, of this anger management group. Hell, 6 months later, he was leading the jump, you know what I'm saying? He stopped drinking, which I thought was like, hey, if Freeman can stop drinking, we can beat these crackers. Right. It was a miracle. And, he still was on his bud and all this type of thing, Yeah, he stopped drinking and he got his life together, So it's never, to the folks out there that's listening, man, hey, it's never too late to change. I don't have enough time to tell you how much I love this man, and respect him. And I was so fortunate to have Freeman. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know really, I was learning as we went how important to the movement this man was. He was a supreme commander, and what a supreme commander does, if there's like, something going on, that's like, with the chapter parties back then, if somebody was messing up, like let's say somebody was messing up in Houston, they would send Freeman to go straighten that. You know what I'm saying? There was a problem with the paper selling or whatever issues that may need to be taken care of at the time. Freeman, traveled, for the Panther Party, and took care of that.
Right.
And let's see what else about Freeman, man. I wish y'all could have met him. I really do. And and I'm talking to your audience. I wish y'all would have met him, man. That man was the very embodiment of the Panther Party, man. Very knowledgeable, extremely smart. You know what I'm saying? Love the ladies, young and old. You know, he didn't discriminate. You dig? But it's the last time I seen Freeman face to face, me and Malik, you know, I left from Common Ground. No, I left from New Orleans. Sorry, y'all, it's still kind of early for me. Yeah, we left New Orleans, you know, Malik and a few other the comrades, and we drove out to Oakland, California to the Black Panther reunion there. I think it was like a 46 reunion or something like that. And we drove all the way through your neck of the woods. Oh yeah, by the way, y'all stop driving through Texas. Get a damn helicopter or a plane. That shit take too long, man.
800
It
miles.
take like a week to get out that motherfucker, man. It's too big, bro. You be going by the same street sign for about a week. It's hard getting out that jump. Man, I was so glad we hit San Antonio, man. Bust up out that jump. But anyway, so I ran into Freeman at the Black Panther reunion at the 46 reunion out in Oakland. That number may be off. I think it was the 46 reunion. And I met him. You know, I met back up with him. It was like we never lost track, you know. And he walked up to me and said, "Hey, boy, you still smoking?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah." Man, Freeman gave me this FedEx envelope with purple haze in the junk. You did. I didn't know whether to save it or smoke it because of who it was. Yeah, because it meant so, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's almost like if Huey, you know, were to give you something, you know? And so, yeah, man, we kicked back and chilled and we had a good time at the reunion. And then Freeman turned me on, brought me over to the Soledad, a couple of members of the Soledad brothers. So it was Freeman in the back seat with me. Dave Johnson was in the passenger seat, and brother Sunni, was driving. And we walking, you know, we driving around Oakland, you know, doing our 1-2. You dig? And my young self, I'm like, man, I was like, hey man, I was happy as hell, man. I couldn't believe I was sitting in there with these legends, man. You know what I'm saying? Riding around Oakland smoking. You smoking with them and everything. But the political impact, you know, that Freeman held on me, the love and everything, and the stories that he downloaded in me, it didn't have to happen. You know, I was blessed. I'm a poor man, not like educated all like that. But the universe, you know, the whirlwind made sure that I had the right people around me to help form me so I could do this work that I'm doing today. But Elder Freeman, you know, I'm talking to your spirit, man, because you're an ancestor. I hope you're looking down on me. I know you're proud of me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because if I didn't meet you, they transformed my character, man. They took me from a little boy to a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying? Between him and Shuja. And I hope you're proud of me and the work that I'm doing here, man. And I miss you so very much. And everything. And also, too, shout out to Marshall Eddie Conway. That's another one's death that I still haven't properly unpacked. You know, because he the same Children's Free Breakfast program Freeman helped me start was named after Marshall Eddie Conway. You know what I'm saying? So I miss him a great deal as well.
Right. Right. Well, final question. We appreciate you for your time. Can you still hear me clearly?
Clear.
Okay, good. So you mentioned Common Ground Collective. When you was talking about it, you went in great detail. Just to kind of give people kind of the idea of the extensive work that Common Ground is doing. How many people do you think or believe that you guys will feed or supporting on a daily basis with Common Ground Collective?
I may be off the numbers, but I know it's in the millions.
Mm,
directly and indirectly. It's in the millions.
mm,
Um, it's in the millions. We raised something like $3.5 million in 3 years. Um, we started, the clinics. With the clinic was really my baby, even though I wasn't directly involved. But I mean, my only involvement in the clinic is like the word that got out falsely that they had codeine lollipops. And, you still had junkies in the street, so they would send me over to the junk. You know what I'm saying, for security reasons. But they wouldn't let me in with the firearm, so I had to sit outside. You know what I'm saying, but I also respect the fact that the clinic didn't want that. But to me, the first most important component of Common Ground was our Common Ground clinic, which we had took one. Malik's mosque allowed us to use that space for this clinic, and to see, brother, Black people having 3 and 4 doctors and 2 nurses on them, you know what I'm saying, dealing with them and their issues, one at, in 4 or 5 groups, you know what I'm saying, on a big open floor. To see my people get that type of attention, you know what I'm saying, made me cry. I used to, because I know otherwise we don't get that type of attention. And then when you leave getting your checkup, you will go outside and you can get like acupuncture, from Doctors Without Borders and massages and all that stuff, and that was our first health clinic. And to me, that was like our first most important thing that we did. And then I came up with the concept of Common Ground Legal. Common Ground Legal, I think, was the second most important, program that we ran. We had, we dealt with like the wetlands. We had a wetlands program, of course, a distribution program, food and water and supplies and other things that people needed. We also, we gutted people's houses. I mean, man, my crew alone probably gutted out 1,000 houses. Just my crew alone under my watch. And I know it ain't bullshit, because the last time I remember checking that notebook when it was early, we was in the 400s already. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, in about 6 months, we was already in the 400s already. And my branch of Common Ground out in Plaquemine, no, not Plaquemine Parish, St. Bernard Parish. My branch of Common Ground, we stayed there like 5 to 6 years. I had turned over the leadership to this brother, and he carried it. We gutted houses. We helped refurbish houses. We did security, of course. You could come to the camp. You come to the distribution center at night. We had lights, and we had electricity. So women need to use a cell phone. Just real quick, I would be remiss to leave this out to show you how tense things were. Just in St. Bernard Parish alone, they were averaging something like 10 suicides a week and 10 unsuccessful suicides a week. I found this out through a nurse that lived in the area. And the people that were committing suicides were professional people, like doctors, lawyers, things like that. They were committing suicide. So it was bad, man. It was really tense. Let's see what other things that we do in Common Ground, man. I wore everybody. If you were to come to Common Ground and you take up the mantle of leadership, you're going to be doing at least 5, 6, 7 different things. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the Common Ground comrades. And brother, I really do appreciate, man, you contacting me, because I was I wasn't bullshitting, but I kind of like got overwhelmed because I was supposed to be interviewing you first for my podcast. But man, the joint that I'm involved in, this joint here, man, it's crazy here, bro. The projects I stand, man, it's nonstop crazy. But anyway, you know, fuck the excuses. I didn't get it done, but I'm gonna get it done, brothers. I promise. And I apologize in front of everybody, you know, to you. If y'all don't know, let me tell you, I have a great deal of respect for this man right here. A great deal of love for this man right here. And his comrades. You dig? What little y'all don't know, I was there before they started the Huey P. Newton Gun Club. Yeah, I knew them before they started the jump. You know what I'm saying? These some of the baddest brothers on the planet. Right here. You know, Texas, baby. You know, Texas. Yeah. And so it's an honor for you, my brother, to you know, they hit me up, you know, and do this interview. A lot of people don't know nothing about me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that, especially my black people, that the white kids worship me. You know what I'm saying? I don't like, and when I say worship me, it's not like I be fucking over them. I'm very good to everybody. I treat everybody fair and with a great deal of love. But what kind of hurt me a little bit, what hurt me a lot is like white kids and white people revere me so much about my work, but I did it for black people. And I serve black people. And nobody knows nothing about me. To the fact that the modern day mutual aid, basically, I'm one of the godfathers of the modern day mutual aid. That this poor black man, you know, that nobody expected anything of, help. I mean, just to show you the influence that we had, not just in the United States, but all over the world. For instance, there's over 2,000 mutual aid groups in the UK alone. And they've all studied what we did in Common Ground. Okay?
That's deep.
Right. Just in the UK. We ain't talking about nowhere else, just in the UK, 2,000. My dream is this here. And you know what I'm saying? I could be wrong, and you know, the more I know, the more I don't know. But black people, you know, we got to get into this, we got to get our shit together. Because the white comrades, I'm sorry to say, hey man, they got such a great network. To the point where, like, when we went through a blackout back in August, we went through a blackout with 64 units of housing, and my project had no water or lights for like a week, and 22-story building, right? The comrades within 6 days raised $9,000. This in 6 days. And I'm not bragging. I'm not saying that, you know, and don't get this wrong, but some of y'all Negroes are Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Oh, look at them bragging on the white people. Nah, nigga, I'm saying we got to raise our game. We got to level up. You know what I'm saying? These people got networks and everything, and they got cooperation with each other. You know, and I want us to learn more about disaster relief. We got to get into that. The white folks own all the warehouses, all the disaster relief warehouses. And hey, they can give you all the supplies, but guess what? When they cut you off, you done. So it'd be nice to have our own disaster relief warehouses. It would be nice for us to have a black version of Common Ground, you know, spring up somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Because these young white kids done take it, they done took it and ran with it. And I ain't saying that we ain't influence some black people, but on the level of where I would like it to be, where I think we should be. I think we missing out on that. I think disaster relief, if you look at the planet and the environment the way it is, disaster relief is a new grassroots movement. I've been saying that shit for almost 20-some years. You know, and matter of fact, speaking of 20 years, man, we 19 years, it's a 19-year anniversary for Common Ground. I think on the 28th or something like that, you know what I'm saying, when we all landed in New Orleans, you know, together. So, you know, this is nice, you know what I'm saying? Once again, comrade, you know, you to hit me up, man, and make me a part of your podcast. I really appreciate that. You know, you helped me get my voice out there, you know, and, but black people, man, I love you, man. And I'm working for you. Don't judge me on where I'm getting the resources from. You know, I hope ain't too many white people, too many of my white comrades see this, John. But my dude, when I'm in a meeting with white people and a large group of white people, I'm the most racist dude in the room. I'm the most racist person in the room. That don't mean I'm violent and I'm like want to like, you know, do all this crazy stuff to white folks, but I do to them what they do to us. Infiltrate. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all tell me, I don't want to deal with no way. How you gonna deal with an enemy and you don't know what his habits are? How much sense that make? You know what I'm saying? You gotta know. You gotta get in there, you gotta know. Chill, play the part. You know what I'm saying? Get them resources that they have access to and run with it. You know, if you're dealing with some real white comrades, they will nod and shake their head and agree how you move. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't have all the answers, man, but we need to step our disaster relief game up. You know what I'm saying? And what these brothers were doing, the Huey P. Newton Gun Club, you know, you
Gorilla
guys are spread,
Mainframe.
huh?
I said also Gorilla Mainframe.
Also, Gorilla Man. Hey, that's the bad. Hey, they had a bad name like that before, like the internet really like blew up like it is. That Gorilla Mainframe John dope. I still love that name to this day, Gorilla Mainframe. You know, something unrelated. One of my favorite animals, for a lot of different reasons, is the gorilla, the silverback gorilla.
Right.
I wear a lot of silverback gorilla T-shirts. The reason why I love the silverback gorilla because I seen on the National Geographic jump where there was like a mother and father, and they had like 4 or 5 little babies, right? And the poacher killed the mother. The male stepped in, and he was the mother and the father for those kids. You know, he was their protector and their nurturer. You know what I'm saying? And outside of his great strength and his intimidating presence, he's a good father to his children. You know what I'm saying? So that's the number one reason why I like that gorilla. So yeah, that Gorilla Mainframes don't like that, bro. But yeah, man. I hope I did a adequate job.
No, actually, let me just say this. I definitely appreciate you for kind of taking this sort of impromptu. I definitely
Yeah,
appreciate you kind of giving it. And I feel like this conversation was needed because I know they're dealing with the hurricane that's in Louisiana now. But also, as you mentioned, that this was around the same time frame that you guys were organizing in Common Ground. So some kind of way, all this just come together on and about this same time.
right.
And it just came to me to reach out. So I appreciate you very much so. And if we can have you back again at a later time to
I
discuss
would
some.
love. Hey, not to cut you off. Hey, man, I'm geeking for one of them Mexican dinners, bro. I'm geeking, bro. Hey, let me tell y'all, bro. You know, ain't nobody got no whole bunch of money and resources, man. You did, but when I got by y'all, man, y'all treated me so well. They took me out to dinner and everything. Took me to this fantastic bookstore. I think it got like 2, 3 levels on the jump, something like that. You
Pan
can buy
African
all
Connection.
your. What's the name of that jump?
Pan African Connection.
Man, had all the books you want. Hey, man, if I wasn't a revolutionary, I would have ran up in there with a ski mask and grabbed all the African masks, statues, and put in a duffel bag. Got about that jump. You did. But I had a wonderful time. You brothers are very honorable. It was one of the brothers from the new Black Panther Party, the light-skinned brother. That's all I can remember. The light-skinned brother, you know, around my age. I learned some pertinent information from him that I didn't know.
Osiris X.
Okay, you know, and you know, I don't want to get into it because I'm dealing with the nation right now, so I don't want, I don't want to get into what we talked about. But you remember what we were talking about, you did.
Right.
So, but yeah, man, I thank y'all for y'all hospitality. I would love to come back, and I don't know how far y'all live, because you know I love to eat. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how far y'all is from where they make them gumbo tacos. But if I come through, y'all gotta take me to go get one of them gumbo taco jumps.
And we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Yeah. I love you, brother. You know, I love all the comrades around you, and much success. If y'all, I don't know why the fuck you would want to come to Cleveland, but if you come, maybe to see the Browns, I don't know. Y'all got a home, you know, y'all got a home. You can come and stay with me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be protected. Trust me. I'm locked up in this junk. And I ain't on no gangster shit neither. But
Right.
trust me, the brothers love me. You can't even really breathe hard on me. You know what I'm saying? So y'all come here and my people know that you with me. Hey, ain't nothing gonna happen to you. Come on here and I might even fire up the smoker. We sit outside and smoking while we smoking. You know what I'm saying? And plot plan and strategize. Hey man, peace out to Nip Hustle, man. Tupac Shakur, you know, Mumia Abu Jamal, free them all, you know, free all the political prisoners, man. And hey man, don't let them beat you down. Don't let them beat you down. You dig? We are the original people on this planet. We are the God made us first, and he made this planet for us. You dig? Don't let these people beat you down. You dig? Y'all try to stay as positive as, hey man, I know it's hard, bro. You know, my dude talking about ceasefire and all this type of thing, but your neighbor's still tripping. I know it's hard, man. I know it's hard in the yard, man. You know what I'm saying? But y'all somebody. Hey man, this type of repression wouldn't be happening if you wasn't a bad motherfucker, man. Huh? This type of repression wouldn't be happening if you wasn't an amazing people, bro. If you couldn't, hey man, we changed here, we changed the world, bro. So y'all hang in there and stop lying to them sisters, man, and honor them sisters and having them babies, man. Be good fathers, man. Them good fathers, the ones being good fathers, I salute you. But the ones lacking, get your ass back in that house, man. Tired of all these old broken-hearted ass women, and then y'all turn them loose on us out here. Hey man, all power to the people. I love y'all, man, and I guess he might give you my contact information and all that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? You're interested, give me a holler at. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that wild of a boy. I'm just having a good time with my brother on the show today. But I appreciate you, brother. Hey, so but look, before we go, how's the brother doing?
Oh, he good. He hanging in there, you know.
Yeah.
He come up for parole next year, next November. So we'll see. We're gonna put together a little campaign for him here pretty soon for that effort.
Man, he the Black Panther version of Blade. We got to get him out, man. We got to get the brother out. Hey, man, I love you, man. And yeah, I'm a relax. I was killing like thousands and thousands of damn lantern flies, and man, it had the whole neighborhood shook. Even the gangsters was like, yo, what the hell is this? You know?
Yeah.
But hey, man, thank you for the time. Much respect, brother. I'm here if I can help you with anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of you. And I'm very honored this morning that you allowed me to reschedule so I can keep my word to you. Because my word, it does mean something to me.
Right on. Okay. Well, we'll appreciate you. You have a good rest of your day, and we'll be reaching out to you.
All power to the people, big brother.
Power to the people.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.